I think once, or a big thing that came about in my real estate career was once I realized that I was actually calling to solve a problem and not calling to beg for a property, that's when things changed because I was no longer emotionally attached to the end result. So if the seller told me no, it's a no. That's great. And most of the time, it's just a not right now. They just need to go through the mud a little bit more, especially in today's current market. And quite frankly, I am more confused or more skeptical if a seller tells me yes, because most of the time I just don't know when I'm asking. So we are just as much in the education business as a creative financing investor as you are just an investor, because you need to educate a lot of different people. And that's part of the skill set of networking, collaborating, but you're going to educate the sellers to buy the property correctly. You're going to educate the buyers so that way they understand how the rent to own program works and how they can actually effectively buy a house. You may need to educate the title companies or the attorneys or some realtors or some wholesalers if you're getting leads from people. So the other day, we just operate in a non-traditional way, but that's why we're able to generate significant profits in a market that is quite frankly made a lot of people confused or challenged with their real estate transactions.
Yeah. This is a prime time, man, especially with the days on market up, more listings hitting the market, things are slower, less buyer demand. I feel like this is a prime time to implement these strategies. Especially, I was actually seeing a lot of parts of Phoenix, it's cheaper to rent than to buy. So, and you're exiting on the rent to own model.
And if it continues to go down the pathway that we're in, right, that's not going to be the way forever. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
because then nobody's going to buy real estate, that rents are going to continue to increase. So what's interesting, I'm glad you brought that point up, because right now we're selling a lot of our rent to own deals because we got debt from earlier, right? Or we got seller financing for less than somebody can go get a new mortgage. So now we're really showing people how to save more because they're not spending as much. And now they get to a point where they have a lot more money available to go close on the property. And now that's why we continue to increase that success rate with these tenant buyers. So it's prime right now. Like Monday night's going to be absolutely amazing, or Tuesday night if you're in Tucson. There's only so much we can cover in, say, like an hour and a half, right? And I know I'll be there for the Q&A and I'll be down there early. But like Saturday, I'll be able to walk through our entire scripts, how to communicate with sellers, how to go about on each deal and how to structure those deals. Because really what we want to get to is become like a transaction engineer, which is you ask these questions, you now know, okay, well, these options are available. And then how do we now position those options to show the seller that this will solve their problem? So we'll be able to really spend a lot more time and dig a lot more into these strategies, because I've never figured out a way how to teach somebody how to make $1 million in like 90 minutes. But what I do want you to see is that there are alternative options out there that you can either bolt onto your current business model, right? For those wholesalers, for those realtors, those fix and flippers. So that way you can still increase your profits while dealing with these transitional markets. And those people that are brand new, like myself, that just trying to get involved into real estate, I can show you how to break into a deal in a less risky manner, because you're not out there raising lots of capital. You're not putting a lot of your own money into these deals. And really, you can just improve your skill set. That way you can scale this as much as you like.
Love it. So in short, where you go out there, you do your marketing or wherever your lead flow comes in. I'm sure you'll probably touch on some of those areas. They actually get really quick. So what are some of your best marketing channels, would you say, for these type of deals?
Man, you just talked about these properties staying high on the market, right? A long time, a lot more expiring. Expired listings has been a bread and butter for it's like 70 to 80% of our properties we've done over 12 years now come from expired listings.